Jitendra Singh, the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, has spoken exclusively to my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul, and he has blamed Pakistan-sponsored terror for this attack that has taken place on Amarnath Yatris. As we play those pictures of those coffins returning home, take a look at this interview.
Well, a tragic terror attack taking place in the Kashmir Valley on the Amarnath pilgrims, in which 7 people have been brutally killed and 19 others are injured. There was a review meeting at the level of the Prime Minister, the NSA, the Home Ministry officials as well. The Home Minister has spoken, and now Prime Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, who hails from J&K, will be immediately rushing to Srinagar to check the security preparedness and also Amarnath pilgrimage. Dr. Jitendra Singh, thank you for joining us before leaving for Srinagar. Your first thoughts: a terrible, tragic, barbaric attack taking place. Are we equipped to respond and give safety to the Amarnath pilgrims, thousands of them who are thronging to the pilgrimage?
Yeah, before I come to the security part, as you have asked, my first thought, as you said, and as I said last night also, is that it's not a mere attack on the Amarnath pilgrims. It's indeed an attack on the composite culture of Kashmir, which the Kashmir protagonists tend to proclaim. It is indeed an attack on the resilience and on the tradition of Indian civilization. But having said that, I would also make a point over here. Now, of course, everybody is condemning this attack, and rightly so, because this is not permitted under the realms of any religion or any civilized society. But I hope this would be also an eye-opener for those of the apologists and the so-called mainstream politicians of Kashmir, whether they belong to the Congress or the National Conference. They are very prompt in denouncing the BJP whenever an incident like this happens, and I think they are entitled to do so because BJP happens to be in power both at the center and the state. But they hesitate to utter a single word of clear condemnation against a terrorist, against a separatist, against a perpetrator of terrorists, even against Pakistan, which happens to be a hostile foreign power. Absolutely. And if this is the kind of conviction and this is the kind of commitment of these so-called mainstream Kashmir politicians towards, I'm not talking of separatists because that's an identified lobby. I'm talking of those self-proclaimed non-separatist, self-proclaimed mainstream politicians. Right. And I think they are absolutely spoiling the plot and creating problems for the security forces as well also the well-meaning civil society, well-meaning citizenry and the well-meaning polity of Jammu and Kashmir.
You make a very significant point on the Kashmiri politicians who should maturely react to and condemn the Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. I wanted to ask you a similar question. You know, Amnesty International, which is a so-called human rights group, has also released a statement. But what they cleverly have done, they are not condemning Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. They are condemning this because they are fearing there will be reprisal attacks against the civilians in Kashmir. That's what they are fearing. Indirectly, they are attacking the government of India. So do you think this is a reminder call for so-called human rights groups, human rights entities and individuals to wake up to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism and be a united India against them?
I have always maintained and condemned the tendency of selective condemnation of violence and also the selective observance of human rights. Right. I think the biggest human right violation on this planet and in any civilized country is a ruthless attack or lynching of a soldier who is performing his duty. Right. I think having said that, there's nothing more to be said. But these are the worthies, and I have no hesitation to retreat this, would feel hesitate because they don't have the courage of conviction. They don't have the guts to say that. But since an army soldier is a soft target, they would immediately condemn what rightly or wrongly, according to them, an army soldier has done. But they would not have the cheek to utter a word against terrorists, and they go to the extent of even being apologists when Pakistan is concerned, which is a hostile foreign power and which is a view which is now being accepted the world over. And I think one of the greatest achievements of the 3 years of the Modi government is that Prime Minister's foreign outreach has today created a milieu where the entire world has begun to accept Pakistan's role in creating all this violence and disturbance on the Indian soil.